right, 99.9 Punk World Radio FM. You guys already know what time it is. And right here, we are joined by a phenomenal musician. We got Vinny, and he is of Ashes Rain, a phenomenal metal band. That's right, guys. Punk World Radio is going metal tonight, but these guys are absolutely phenomenal. You got to check them out. We're going to hear a lot more about Ashes Rain here tonight on the radio station airwaves. Vinny, how's your Saturday night treating you so far, man?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. Excited to be here. Thanks for having us on. Well, me, normally my bass player is with me, but he's having a much more fun weekend. He's traveling right now. So you got me, though, and I'm going to give you all I got.
Hey, man, they're definitely here in spirit, and honestly, I know, Vinny, you're going to hold it down for the rest of the band, man, because like I said, you guys are absolutely killer, man. When Kate of Affiant Records actually reached out and was like, hey, you guys do metal? I'm like, we do metal. And I heard Ashes Rain, I was like, man, these guys are absolutely killer, man. I was like, Kate, we have to set something up. We have to make this happen.
Awesome, man. We really appreciate it. It's nice to be getting some of that. I don't know. I think Affiant's doing a great job kind of getting us out there, and a lot more people are hearing what we're doing. And we were sludging at it for a long time on our own, and it's real nice that, we're starting to just meet people, and we're really excited to be able to do things like this. So once again, thank you.
But I gotta take you back to the very beginning of Ashes Rain, before the record deal, before the EP, before all your guys' amazing accomplishments, right back to the origin story, man. Like, how did you yourself, Vinny, actually get connected with the rest of the guys, and of course go on to form this amazing, fucking killer band, dude?
This it's always been just a test of will, man. Honestly, I mean, I've been playing forever. Guitar player forever. I think I picked up a guitar when I was maybe 10, 11 years old. Maybe my cousin was in some bands. He was a great guitar player. He taught me my first songs. And funny, man, he when he put a guitar in my hand, it wasn't hey, here's a chord, or here's some simple thing. He's like, hey, check out, this is how you play Enter Sandman by Metallica. So I'm sitting there as a brand new guitar player, like, this is so powerful, man. The guitar became my life. I love everything about the instrument, and I grew up with that, and I didn't take over vocals in this band till about 2.5, 3 years ago. So this project has kind of been a long-standing thing, with me always at the helm, writing a lot of the music, and people kind of coming in, coming out, different names, but it's always been sort of in the same vein. I met Ryan about 10 years ago. He's the bass player, and he is the one long-standing person that's been in a lot of these projects with me. We've been in a lot of bands. We played a lot of shows and under different names, but when it came to this band in particular, we were sort of a just straight up death metal band. We had just a screamer, growler guy. I've always been a fan of traditional metal, old school metal, but I love modern metal. I'm always up to date with what's going on, the new stuff, the new production and everything. So when it came like time, we lost our vocalist. We were kind of restructuring the band, and during that time, we kept wanting to write. Ryan and I, at the helm of this thing, we were like, man, let's keep writing. So we were writing songs, and at one point, Ryan's like, hey, man, why don't you lay some demo vocals so we can really finish some songs? And I was like, oh God, I'm not a vocalist, but sure, let's keep this thing moving, right? I laid the vocals down in demo form. We tried some people out, and during this period, my vocals were getting better the more I did it. To the point where Ryan one day goes, hey, man, we're having a lot of trouble finding what you want and what we want for the band, which was a mix of heavy vocals and clean vocals. And I'm talking clean vocals such as power metal-y 80s hair metal vocals mixed with heavy vocals, like metalcore vocals, right? And that's what I was kind of just doing. So I ended up going and taking vocal lessons for a good straight year before I ever stood on stage and did this. And now we are what we are, man. We wrote these songs. I laid vocals for the first time on the EP, which came out in 2022. And I've just been doing it since. And, we went and met up with Affiant. That clicked. And yeah, it's an interesting story, but it's Ryan and me at the core, man.
And speaking of this EP, it actually dropped May 6th of 2022. And I do know, obviously, you just talked about the vocal portion of this amazing album, but can you tell us a bit more about Mountains Echoes as a core? And of course, where can we actually buy or stream ourselves a copy of it today if we haven't already done so? Because this is a stellar EP.
Sure. So Mountains Echo, there's a lot about that, but it's on everything. You can get it anywhere. Music's coming. We still think that's 100%. It's all us and District Kid. The do-it-yourself attitude. We do it at the studio, and that is us 100% self-produced. Mountains Echoes is an interesting one. That song in particular is actually the point of that song. It's actually a taken from a book. It's called "And the Mountains Echoed" by Khalid Hosseini. It's the first chapter of that book. He tells this fable, and I wrote the song based upon the fable. That's the opening of that book. Really cool book. Check it out. I just I really felt good. My wife's a librarian, so she's always asking me books and stuff. I love writing from a personal viewpoint, but also I really love writing like adapting fictional stuff. I'm a huge fan of all things, just nerdy stuff, man. I'm wearing the Godzilla shirt today, right? I like a lot of things. I do what I can. Like I told my buddy Ryan, man, when we were doing this, is like if I'm singing, I have to write and perform what I feel. Because I am not, how I feel about vocals is I am getting by on sheer like determination. If I don't believe in what I'm doing, saying, when I'm doing it, then it's going to come across as you're not going to feel it because I am not a trained vocalist per se. I have to get through with conviction. So I write about what I care about, and I have to believe in the words I say. And I can do that even with fictional stuff. But yeah, Mountains Echoes is a 4-song EP. That one song is, based on fictional stuff that I just talked about. The other 3 songs are very much close to home. Just stuff in my personal life. I've had a lot of stuff. I've talked about a lot. Grew up in a pretty rough way and had a lot of things I had to deal with as an adult, as an older guy, and then just trying to figure out how to live life, through trauma, right? I mean, I think it's something we all deal with it to some capacity, but I'm very open about it and I write about it quite a bit. So that's all over everything I do.
And also, as well, you guys are actually currently signed to Affiant Records, as we mentioned at the very beginning of this interview. But I was wondering, how did you guys ultimately get discovered by Affiant? And of course, what is it like just working and the rest of the Affiant label? Because honestly, there's so many other amazing bands just like yourselves
Yeah.
signed to it. The label personnel are absolutely phenomenal. Like the one thing I love about Affiant, and I tell all the bands that I do interview that are associated with them, is the one thing I love about Affiant is how they really give themselves to the artist, man. There's so many labels out there that do shady stuff, but this is the one label that really works for the artist, man.
I agree, and I mean, in my opinion, we really lucked out. Everything we've come across has been due to a lot of hard work. So, Launch Music Festival out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, we were somehow notified about this conference going on. Ryan and I had been talking about it for a minute. Like, we've really taken this as far as we could on the DIY thing. Like, we're pushing it as far as we can, looking at playlisting, all the things a band does, trying to get noticed, right? Playing local shows and stuff all the time. And we're like, man, we are really not sure where to go next, right? I think that's the point where a band has to decide, do I want to just keep trudging on the local scene? What is my goal? If your goal is to just play a ton of shows, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. I myself much prefer recording and writing music and then getting it out to people. And that's what we needed help with. So we started feeling like, we really need to find people who have these relationships already and know the pathway through that, rather than us we're spending so much time just emailing people and trying to get these things moving that we weren't able to write music anymore. I mean, so much of it as a, just independent, 100% independent band takes away from the music, in my opinion. And my goal is to write as much music and to practice my skills. I'm not only the vocalist, I'm also the guitar player in the band. Everything we've recorded up to this point has been 100% me on guitar, except for one guitar solo on Painted Thrash. So I mean, I'm the principal songwriter, guitarist, lead guitarist, vocalist. It's a lot to juggle, man. So when it came to Affiant, we really lucked out. We went to Launch. We were, promoting ourselves. We're very good about being on the ground. Ryan is very good about like printing material and going to every show and just handing out cards. Just making sure like we try to let people know that we have music out there. And when we were doing that, we ran into William Metzger, who's the head of the label, he was at Affiant. We gave him a promo box, and it had all of our stuff in it, and we had a conversation. I think he just saw us working, and we talked to other labels while we're out there as well, and in between. But the thing that set, I say, Affiant apart is that I saw him out there. I saw William Metzger, the head of this label, out there busting his ass for the bands. And that is the one thing I don't see labels do. I see labels say, hey, we're going to give you a little bit of money to record. We're going to give you our network. We're going to get you some radio spots. We're going to do this and that. But I don't see people actually on the ground working like the band. And that is what is different about this label, in my opinion. It's like we now have the staff of Affiant is like band members. They are. We go to them for everything. As songs are being demoed, we send them out and we trust their ear. And we have this really, really good back and forth relationship that we really value. And I feel like we've been pointed in the right direction. It's been really good. They opened up production to us, producers that we didn't know about, really kind of leveled us up. And they've just been pushing and working as hard as we do. We get emails from them almost on a daily basis of like, hey, we want you to do this. Here's another connection. Here's that, which allows us to kind of work on the music, right? And let them kind of guide us to where we need to make our connections. I think it's really important. I think this is exactly what you want, in my opinion, with a label at this point, for our band at least, being new and whatnot.
And also as well, when you actually said you do vocals and guitar, I also saw on your guys' Instagram that you guys are actually looking for an additional second guitarist to actually add to the Ashes Rain lineup. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about that search, and if you are still looking, and if there are potential guitarists out there that want to join this band, how do they go about doing so? And of course, inquiring about becoming a potential member of this killer band.
Info@ashesrain.com. We're just asking people to hit us up there so we can go through all the details. We have, a structure in the band, like what it's like to tour with us, like what you can expect. We don't expect anyone to do this job for free. We're past that point. We're asking people for their skills, and we're trying to compensate as well as we can at this particular point. We've had a lot of great musicians in this band. We've played with a lot of great guitar players. But I've written everything, So what happens usually is I'll record a record and then I will tap a guitar player to come in and perform with us. And we were doing really well. We had a pretty solid lineup while it was on the local scene. But as soon as we kind of graduated to now it's time to take this on the road, Ryan and I, these longstanding members, we're ready, man. We want to get out there. We have the ability to do it. We have the flexibility. Our life is ready for it. And that's the difference, I think, when you get to this point, is that, musicians, I don't know how to put it. I don't want to undermine anyone's value, but I guess the easiest thing for you to find is someone who can play. I mean, honestly, I can, you could find a guy to play all my parts pretty easy that I've written. What we can't find are people who are able to leave home for extended periods of time, go out and play night after night, and deal with all the rigors of what this really means to be a more professional project and grow. And that's really what we're looking for. Like I said, we've had amazing players. The guy who laid the guitar solo on Painted Thrash, there's a video out there, the guitar playthrough, you can catch him. Carter Lit Vinus was in the band. Phenomenal guitar player. I wish he had, the ability to be the guy who would go out with us on the road, but, he just has things that tie him down. So we have to open it up. We have to open the search up. We did the same with the drummers. So we went through a drummer phase as well, where we're trying to find a guy that can do what we need. And we've tried some guys out, and we're kind of solidifying that. We will do what we have to do. We're not going to stop. And in fact, we have played shows before without a drummer, where we have written all the drums and put them on a backing track. We've played without a second guitar player, where the extra stuff is on the backing tracks. And we will continue to do that until we get a fully solid lineup, because we're not going to stop. And the truth is, I can play every part that is recorded, and I have no shame in it. I think we're at a point in time in history where musicians are finally able to be self-sufficient. If you want to be in a band, if you have a project you want to bring to life, don't let anyone get in your way, man. Don't let anything get in your way. Don't let anything stop you. There are ways to figure this out. And you just got to be honest with people. We're not going to go up there and try to dress up a mannequin and say we got our second guitar player with us when you're hearing other guitar parts coming through the speakers, right? But we're not shy about it. We're going to get out there. We're going to meet you people that enjoy what we do, because that's what it's really about. It's about connection. And we do Twitch streams every week where we play this material live on stream every week. Check it out. It's just twitch.tv.ashesrainband. And we do it every week, and we love it, man. We've met so many cool people through that medium as well, and we perform all the time. So we're not shy about, our skills and strengths and what we can do and what we can't, but we're not going to let the fact that we don't have a second guitar player keep us from playing shows. But if you want to be in the band, hit us up.
And also as well, I actually read that you guys are currently working on your full-length debut album. I was wondering if you could actually tell us a bit more about this up-and-coming record. And of course, what is it like actually been working alongside Chris Dawson for this up-and-coming project? Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe he is actually doing the mastering of this project.
So Chris is actually doing mixing. He's doing an interesting job right now. So he is almost pseudo producer. All this material was written before we actually ended up with Affiant. So Chris has this unusual job now of shaping the music after the fact. He is a great producer. He's worked with tons of bands. He's got a great track record. And that's something Affiant brought to the table. We didn't know who Chris Dawson was until they got that connection for us. But at the time, we had already recorded all the drums for the album. All the pre-pro was done. So when we handed it off to Chris, he said, "Hey, dude, this is some good stuff, guys, but there are some things I would have done had I been producing this from the get-go. And I was wondering if maybe you'd take some of this, time to, maybe look at some of these things in better detail." And that's what we're doing. We're kind of, the songs are structured and written, but we're taking a lot of their input and just doing what we can at the moment. Our goal, our hope is that the next album will no longer be self-produced. We will actually sit in the room with a producer as we build the record and be able to do it that way. But, we're pretty good about self-production. I'm happy with what we're doing. Ferryman came out. I will say that we're dropping singles. In fact, we can say today on this show for the first time that we have a single dropping next month, and that we actually have a pre-save link ready to go for it. So we can get that out to people starting tonight.
And with this single, is this actually the very first single off this up-and-coming album, or is this just something completely separate that you guys actually have put together?
No. So Ferryman, that dropped already, that is part of this album, actually. Sever, which is the next song that's dropping, is part of this album. And this album will have, don't quote me on this, I do believe it's 9 or 10 songs. I can't remember exactly right now. There's so many things going on. But yeah, it's going to be a good, long, full-length album. We're big on albums, this band in particular. We are, for me as a writer, I think there's cohesion in a project. I'm in a frame of mind when I write certain songs, and when they go together, I don't like to split them up. I want them to be part of an actual album that has continuity, a beginning and an end. I know where all these songs go on the track listing. In my brain, this album is done. We just need to get it fully recorded and mastered. So,
and I got to ask as well, because obviously I know you said that he's got to get it recorded and mastered and whatnot. Do you have a estimated release date of this particular album? And if so, when do you think it would actually be ready to be released to the general public?
This is all conjecture right now. We do have, from the label, we do have our deliverables and whatnot, and they're, a lot of it's done, right? We're sitting on some music right now because it's being staged and dropped at particular times for specific marketing reasons and stuff. We kind of hand that off to the label and let them do what they think is best, because we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And when it comes to distribution of music and when the intervals are to put it out, we don't know. But the plan is everything that we know and how far we're going. We're talking the last half of this year, 2024. The full album will be available, for you to get. During this period, though, we're going to be dropping singles probably every few months as we ramp up to it.
And aside from this brand new single that's actually coming out very soon that has the pre-saved link ready to go and ready to be shared across all social media platforms for the Ashes Rain fans, what is next for yourself and the rest of the band? Like, is there anything we happen to miss during this evening's interview? Anything else you do still want to touch on, talk about, or promote? We still got you here live on the radio station airwaves tonight.
Sure. We do have some live performances coming up. We are getting our touring lineup tightened. I mean, that we are in that mode right now of rebranding and rebuilding. So keep an eye out for a lot of things changing with us. You're going to see very soon the whole look and feel of everything that has been done up to this point that has been self-produced up to here is slowly going away and being replaced by what is going to be the new image of this band. And with that, unfortunately, there's some growing pains, right? And the growing pains come in the fact that we need musicians. And I'm not saying caliber either. It's not the caliber of musician, because we've been so lucky to work with guys who are just fantastic. It is, we need professional, career-minded musicians who are able to do the job. And that means touring. That means getting away and spending time out there and playing for people live. So that is the next step for this band in particular. We are pushing extremely hard to get the right lineup locked in so we can be out there as much as possible, because we love playing live, man. That's why we do it on Twitch to this day. I mean, that gives us the ability now to continue to play live shows without being able to go out. We want to have that full band when we actually hit the road. But that's the goal for us. That's really where our mind is. It's getting all the stuff mixed and mastered, and we're going through notes all the time. We're making some edits here and there, and sometimes there's some dubs that need to be done, stuff like that, harmonies. So we're just making sure we pay very close attention to everything we're doing right now to make sure it is the very best it can possibly be while we get the talent. I mean, you have to have the product before you get the talent, in my opinion, right? So making sure the product is what it is, what it needs to be, then you can attract the top talent. And when you're asking guys to stay away, and guys or girls, we're open to either, to stay away from home for X amount of time to try to bring this dream of ours to life and grow it. We know what we're asking, so we're busting our butts trying to make sure that you see value in that. That's it.
And also, man, before we actually part ways here this Saturday night, how do we go about following not only yourself, but the rest of Ashes Rain all across all social media platforms? That way we can stay updated on not only this, journey to find a second guitarist, but also these amazing singles to come, and of course this album coming at the end of 2024.
So for us, everything is Ashes Rain Band. You can find us on everything. I mean, every social media platform out there, we have blanketed Ashes Rain Band. So that's every handle you can think of: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We're on everything. Twitch. If you want to talk to us in the room, if you want to spend time with us and ask questions, and we do a listening stream on Sundays where we hang out and we just play playlist and we let people show us music and we react and hang out. And then on Wednesdays, we just do rehearsal streams where we play our music and just talk to people, man. If you want to get in on that and have even closer connection, ask questions and see how we're doing what we're doing, Twitch is the place. We really dig the whole Twitch thing. It's really cool way to connect. Takes a little bit of work on our end to make it translate, but it's worth it as far as we can say. The pre-save to us super important. If you want to support the band, pre-save, that's a Foundy link. Can I put that in the chat by chance here? Would that?
You definitely can. Yep.
Yeah, let me do that. It'd probably be the easiest way for me to comment on it. But this has new artwork. Everything is in this guy. So this is the first time anyone's seeing anything. On this we'll have, and you'll see the new logos there, and this is the cover for the single that's coming up. So it's a big time for us. We're really excited about the single. It is, in my opinion, the culmination of everything that this band has strived to do for many years. It has all the virtuosity, all the crazy guitar solos, all the like the catchiness, songwriting that you heard in Ferryman. But Ferryman, I do believe, was a little bit more like straightforward. This one is a little bit kind of, I don't know how to put it. It's just kind of Ash's Rain unhinged. It's if you kind of just push us to the brink, this is what you're gonna get, and it has a little bit of everything, and we're super proud of it. We are like the bass runs and everything, and there's so much to hear in this song. I'm excited for you guys to actually be able to get that opportunity.
And I did just display the link actually live, as you can see on your screen. The viewers can see whatever we see. So with your permission as well, I can actually add that into the YouTube description. That way, when individuals watch this, like obviously while we're not live, they can actually just be able to click the link right at the bottom of the description. So if you're not watching this live and you're watching this like weeks, months, years from now, click the link and enjoy that amazing song. But remember, you can't enjoy it for about a month, but you can definitely pre-save it.
That's right. That's right. It's we will very much appreciate it. And I have to take a moment to say thank you first off for having me on here. Right. I really appreciate you taking the time out of the day and scheduling this. And then, the label, obviously, for everything they're doing for us. But, man, it really comes down to the fans, man, the guys who listen to us, the people who show up in the Twitch streams day in, day out when we get on there. I mean, sometimes I question, like, you're spending your time with us, and that means so much. Everyone's time is so valuable these days. We have so many things that can distract us and so many things that need our time and attention. So for anybody who gives us their time, we are extremely grateful. Even if you just hang out on Twitch, even if you just watch this and support it with a like, that we love you for it, and we thank you for it, because we do not deserve, there's nothing that says you owe us anything, right? We appreciate the time that you give us, and we hope to continue to do stuff that you guys love. So thanks.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, Vinny, thank you so much for your time and accepting this interview opportunity and coming on my radio station airwaves and just talking everything Ash's Rain, man. I definitely love what you guys are doing. We can see the hustle that you guys are putting in all the way down here in Canada. So honestly, man, if we can see it in Canada, people out there can definitely see it, man. So thank you so much for your time. I'm pretty sure down the line we definitely shall talk again soon. But for now, Vinny, definitely have yourself a phenomenal night.
I appreciate you. In Canada, by the way, Tom, out of Canada, one of our biggest supporters, man. We love you, dude. Appreciate you so much.
Hey, definitely shout out to Tom. We also got Judy in here as well, showing some love in the chat.
Hey, Judy. Thank you so much.
But definitely, Vinny, have yourself a phenomenal weekend. And whenever that album drops, definitely reach out to Kate and we'll get you back on the radio station airwaves to further promote this amazing album release at the end of 2024.
Will do. Thank you so much, man. Have a great one.
You as well, Vinny. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.